You surround me with your love, even when the darkness is all I see. You embrace me. You surround me with your peace, even when my world is shaking. And you embrace me. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. You surround me with your love, even when the darkness is all I see. You embrace me. You surround me with your peace, even when my world is shaking. And you embrace me. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. You surround me with your love, even when the darkness is all I see. You embrace me. You surround me with your peace, even when my world is shaking. And you embrace me. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. 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 I'm fully embraced by you I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. You surround me with your love, even when the darkness is all I see. You embrace me. You surround me with your peace, even when my world is shaking. And you embrace me. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. Your love's captured my soul. Jesus, you won't let go. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm fully embraced by you, Lord. I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father. I know I'm loved by you. Your love faithful and true. I know I'm loved by my Holy Father.
Hey guys, it's time for another live stream. So for today, you have me as your host. Hi guys, I'm Hannah. And for today, it's time for us to learn some healthcare tips that you can do during this quarantine season. With our special guest, Ate Naomi.
Hi!
Hello.
Hello, guys. Happy Friday.
Ate Naomi, what are we going to talk about today?
So today we will be talking about 5 self-care tips that you can do during the quarantine period.
Ooh. So shall we begin with our talk? We have questions here prepared for us to answer, for you to answer, Ate Naomi. What are the small things that you can do to keep our mental health state stable?
So what are the few things that we can keep our mental health stable during this quarantine is I'm going to give a little bit of a background first. So first and foremost, the impact of COVID-19 has brought upon us a lot of disruptions in our daily lives. So to slow the virus, of course, the lockdowns were implemented. And with this lockdown, a lot of restrictions have been made upon us. So, given the magnitude and the speed of change this has happened in our lives, as teenagers, as youth, just like you can't help become anxious about so many things, like, your schooling, what's going to happen, the future, the well being of your family, as well as your friends. So it's very common for you to feel very low and distressed at the very moment. So in here we will be covering several things that could possibly help you get through the quarantine period.
Okay, so how can we fight against the fear of what others think about me or what others think about yourself?
So regarding that question, like how can we fight against the fear of what others think about me? So in our field of study, we have this thing called rumination. 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 So rumination is basically the thinking over of things over and over again in our heads. Sometimes we can't help it. Like obviously sometimes we don't even notice that we're actually even doing it already. That's what we call rumination. So rumination is usually about past events. Like we keep on thinking how could it have gone differently, things that other people have done to us in the past, like how could they have reacted differently, what could have gone right. Like for example, when I was riding the LRT, and then it was early in the morning, and then suddenly somebody bumped me, and then that person happened to look at me with a bad eye, and then it definitely hurt so bad. Tapos ako pa yung nag-sorry, pero hindi naman talaga ako yung may kasalanan. And then some individuals would think, they would just shrug it off. It was a bad morning. Some other people would actually go over what happened and what happened. Like, ba't ako nag-sorry, ang MM ko, nagmukha akong ganito, like, some things like that. Those overthinking of things can actually affect us a lot, especially when we're actually fighting the fear of what others thinks about us. So when we ruminate, it actually quickly leads to negative moods. So when we ruminate, there's a drop in mood. And then there's going to be a lot more rumination going on in our heads. And then there's going to be a more drop in our moods. So it's really a bad outcome for us. So aside from dwelling from past events, rumination can also go in a forward direction. So imagine, like, in the past, we're going to think about how we're going to study in our exams, right? And then suddenly your classmate tells you, like, oh, I heard from the teacher that it's definitely going to be so much harder. And then in your head, like, oh, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna pass this. And then when you hear that it's gonna be so difficult, your thoughts and your feelings, you're going to be more anxious and worried, and then your behavior is going to be negative. Like, you're going to stall for time. Like, what's the point of studying hard if the teacher said it's going to be so hard that I might fail nevertheless? So those are the types of rumination as well. So how can we actually stop ruminating? So the first step to stop worrying about past events and then also worrying or being anxious about future events is to first try to apply the strategies promoting healthy habits, which I'm going to be sharing later on. And then the second step is to distract yourself from the rumination and anxiety cycles by immediately doing something like an activity or an exercise you actually prefer. It could be like, housework, watching Netflix, a short film, go and talk to somebody. Talking to somebody definitely really helps. Listen to some uplifting music, dance in a silly way. People do it TikTok and everything. Listen to podcasts or go on a fast walk around your house or maybe around your village if it's possible. And then the third step is to change the way you're thinking. So changing the way you think, it will actually take a lot of practice. So how are we going to apply to change the way we think? So I'm going to be giving you some situations. So I hope that the people on the comment sections could, also be active in participation. Grabe, bad mo talaga ako ngayon. Buti na lang.
Yes, Jay, we will
So,
learn a lot from this. Stop.
so I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm going to give you a first situation, and then I'm gonna tell you the negative perception of that situation. So the first situation is my friend doesn't message me back today. So that's the first situation. So what's the thought and possible resulting mood that I'm gonna be feeling when that happens? Like, ah, you don't really care. Like, I feel alone and I feel low. So now we're going to stop ruminating. Now I want you to guys to think about what alternative possible thoughts you're going to think so that you could uplift your mood. So aside from the negative thought that, oh, they're not thinking about me, that kind of stuff, what could possibly be the alternative thinking of that? Are there any?
I'm sorry, what's the question again? Maybe we
So
haven't heard it.
okay. So the first situation is your friend doesn't message me back today. So my friend doesn't message me back today. So of course, my negative thoughts and feelings about it is they don't really care. Like, I feel alone and low. So now, for you to stop ruminating, what kind of alternative thoughts am I supposed to think so that it could make me feel better? So what could be the reason why my friend doesn't message me back today?
Hmm. Can I answer?
Yeah, Sure.
So maybe they're doing something more, they think that's more important, or it's something that they couldn't take their time off of.
Yeah, that could be also like, maybe, yeah, baka busy. Maybe they were too busy, schoolworks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Any more answers, guys? Or baka naliligo. You never know. Baka nagtututbrush.
Maybe also. That's true. That's true. So there are actually many ways on how you're going to interpret why your friend doesn't reply you back. So we try to avoid that kind of negative rumination. So by the end, some people might doesn't want to be disturbed whenever they're playing ML, COD, PUBG, kind of thing. So should I give another example?
Yeah, you can. Give them more questions to answer.
So here we have another question, another situation like mom told me off for not helping around the house. Like, yeah, mom told me not that I was not helping around the house. So what's the negative rumination that I'm gonna be thinking about that? Like, oh, she thinks I'm useless, but we don't really get along. So what I'm going to feel is I'm gonna feel very low and hopeless. So what are the alternative thoughts that you can think about?
Maybe she'll think that hmm, you're thinking that something else is much more important for that time.
Mm, maybe that's also possible. Or maybe your mom is just stressed and then she's just putting out the anger on you. Maybe because earlier she spoke with your grandmother and she didn't hear good news. That could also be possible. So are there any
Frustrations, maybe.
yeah.
Kaka-ML nyo. Oh, maybe she just wants you to be responsible. She's just teaching
Maybe
you.
maybe maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. You're really lounging around. Okay.
Okay, we can move to this to another question.
Yep.
How do you see your self-worth when you feel like you're damaged goods?
Okay, now when I saw that question, it was quite a deep question, and it really I thought I really should, talk about this in a serious way. But I'll try my best to put it off in a very, chill way. So how do you see your self-worth when you feel like you're damaged goods? So in our field of study, we have this kind of system or therapy wherein what we think is actually closely related to how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
So if we change the way we think, you'll also change the way you feel. So this is sometimes referred to as like a cognitive restructuring or thinking restructuring. Now this technique helps people to see a different side to the situation because whenever we're very much influenced by our emotions or in our moods, we tend to not, make decisions in a proper way. And sometimes we regret making those decisions because we're blinded by how we felt at that very moment. So it sounds easy, but it's not really. So, but it's definitely worth trying. So in here, I will be telling you several situations which could possibly tell you about how we go around with what we think. So, for example, the situation holds like there's so much schoolwork given to us this week. And of course, I'm going to feel like I'll never get this done. Like, I can't be bothered. My grades would be terrible anyway. So, and how we're going to think alternatively about this is maybe schools are just really trying to keep us busy because we're at home. It's not like we're attending classes. Is it okay to just have a go and then get some of it done? We are all doing our best, and sometimes we can't get it all done, especially during this quarantine season. My grades before were okay, so they're likely to stay that way if I'm going to work on it. So you feel that you become more hopeful and you're able to do more work because when you feel a bit more better, you're more motivated to do things. Get out of bed and do stuff.
So basically, it like helps us it motivates us to do things.
hmm Sometimes when we're clouded by our feelings, we tend to not judge things in a proper way. Sometimes our thinking is just one straight line and we don't see the other roads that we could actually possibly think about. So if we were to try this kind of thinking, it would definitely help create better decision making, and it would also increase your mood at the same time.
So it's like removing the blind spots that we also put for ourselves. Is it like that? Or
Yes, that's true. Because uh, like I said earlier, when we only see one road ahead of us, it's like we're in a bad mood, and then we only see one solution. We're like, is there no other way? Like, I don't even want to go through that way. Like, I don't want to get angry at my mom, for example. Like, is that the only solution that I have? So you have to at least think about it. Think about the possible alternatives that maybe mom and I can sit down and talk about this rather than raging on that single road of shouting to your mom perhaps or something like that.
hmm that's like that could help a lot of people, like what you just said. Because like with the quarantine now, we don't see any other alternatives, and just
Mm-hmm.
have to think of the possible alternatives to what we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, for another question, what are activities that you would recommend to help distract ourselves?
So I actually have sent several links to the team about those activities. So there's like hundreds of them on that website. You can actually go check them out. But if you want to get your hands on like simple things, I could really recommend for you to go try cooking, helping around the house, those simple things. Maybe get your get your family's car cleaned up because it's not always running, that kind of thing. Clean your bed, that kind of stuff. Can bake. Some people are starting to bake. Or maybe you could learn a new instrument like a guitar, maybe piano, flute, maybe. Or you could also start learning a new language if you want to be challenged.
Duolingo. So, guys, what do you guys do whenever you guys want to distract yourselves? Like, for me personally, I do journaling. I practice some songs, and I do my quiet time. Comment down below what you guys do.
Personally, for me, if I were to share, if I want to distract myself, I would usually watch videos online. Gumising ng maaga, matulog ng maaga. Wow,
Yeah.
that's very good. Mm.
Sana totoo, JJ. Okay, and for now we need to have these affirmations. So, what verses would you recommend, Ate, that would affirm us that we're loved?
Okay, so as I was thinking about this, I'm going to be sharing you a few Bible verses to you guys. Now, the book of John actually has a lot to say about affirmation of God's love for us. but these are the ones that I've chosen. So first is coming from the book of John, chapter 14, verses 1 to 3. So it says here, do not let your hearts be troubled. If you believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. So the reason why I'm sharing this verse to you is because you always have to remember that whenever you feel like you're in a bind or whenever you feel like you're struggling, know that you can always turn to God. You know, He's always ready. He's always game whenever you need Him. It's never going to be like a hassle or like a disturbance for Him. If you suddenly seek His help, you know, He's always prepared. You know, He has this VIP room prepared for you uh, and clean for you 24/7. You can get you can always seek his presence through prayers, you know, maybe or in your quiet time or whenever get things are getting a little bit too rowdy in your head and you need him the most. It's going to prepare your room, a room specifically for you to rest all your troubles. And when you finally took that rest, he's going to come back for you and he will take you with him on his journey. So you're never going to be alone. He's going to be with you. He's going to be that assurance that however that road turns out, whether be it rocky or smooth, he's going to be with you. So the next verse that I'm going to be sharing is the one coming from Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 3. It says, the Lord appeared to us in the past, saying, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. So this speaks to us that God's love is overflowing and never receding. Like it's never going to end, his love for you, that is. Like whatever things you may have done in the past or things that which you can't forgive yourself with, know that none of that would turn his love against you. No, if God can ultimately forgive you over and over again, you surely can do so to yourself as well. As I said earlier, I mean, it's always good to be kind to yourself. And if and another verse that I'm going to be saying actually connects to what I will be saying is coming from the first book of John, chapters 4, verse 12. It's saying that no one has ever seen God. But if we love one another, God lives in us and his love is made complete in us. So if we can learn to love one another and moreover ourselves, because it's really difficult for us to try and learn to love ourselves, then we're accepting God to be in our hearts. You know, God also experiences one sided love as well. It's not just us. And, you know, if we allow to accept all those flaws within us, we also allow God to enter in our lives as well. And through that, although, you know, his very being is invisible, his love would complete us. You know, how amazing would it be to, you know, fully accept the Lord simply because when we fully accept the Lord, we all that will also be the moment that we fully accept ourselves. You know, because God lives in us as we live in God.
That
So yeah.
really, that's really powerful, Ate Naomi. I hope lots of you are also empowered by this love that Ate Naomi just shared. Those verses carry lots of powerful words and um, really self-care is also self-love. That's what throughout this whole talk, that's what I've gathered. And if we love ourselves, then we really care for ourselves, diba?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say thank you, Ate Naomi, for your time and your wisdom. And basically, that's the end of the talk. Yay! That's all the time that we have for today. And so for our announcements, Don't forget to join us this Sunday for our online services and stay tuned for our Friday live streams. Thank you guys for watching and have a great week. Bye!